How's it going, guys? And today we're going to be talking about why I'm not the biggest fan of minimalism and different things I'm into, why I'm not really with the minimalism trend, and how there are positives to it, but there's also a lot of negatives. So we're going to kind of talk about that. So, first of all, we're going to go over the positives of minimalism, which is obviously number one, decluttering. There are positives to minimalism, even though the overlying trend I'm not really for. But there are a lot of positives, and for some people, it is something that really works for them. It helps them a lot. It helps them declutter their space, their mind, and really get control over their life, especially if they're full of like all these different things like bothering them all the time. Like maybe their mind is in one place, maybe their mind is in another place, and when they come home, they're really not prepared to deal with like the stress of just all their things in their house. They don't know where to process it, where to begin. Some people have a lot of problems dealing with that. And for those people, decluttering with minimalism can really help these people get a clearer sense of mind, fix their lives and things like that. Personally, I don't really do a whole lot of that because I don't really struggle with that. But for some people, it really helps them with that. So if you're one of those people, definitely use minimalism to your advantage. It's a very good tool for that purpose. A lot of people also use minimalism to just clear their mind, as I mentioned. They work towards these goals, and sometimes having all these things kind of drags them back. They can't really process it, and it slows them down from achieving their goals, which is why they need a clear mind. And minimalism can help them with this by just decluttering their items, simplifying things. Some people really struggle with choice as well. That's why you see a lot of minimalists really shrink their wardrobe down or really shrink their choices they have down. Like if they have a favorite pen or pencil or something, maybe they get like all the same ones. Or maybe they have like a ton of food in their fridge or freezer and they never can choose what they want. Sometimes they shrink that down to a few meals and a decent plan for a week, and some people really benefit from that, but some people kind of don't benefit from that at the same time. But it just really depends what your personality is and how you deal with that situation. And another reason people like it is just for the simplicity. A lot of people enjoy having the simple lifestyle, having the simple way of life, and just coming home to nothing that's over the top, just kind of a simple, basic, your average modern-esque type home. So after listing all these things, you might be wondering why I'm not really into this trend. And it's not really for those reasons. I actually think all those reasons are very positive. I think minimalism has its perks. It's definitely something that can be used for the good things as a tool at the end of the day. But it's also a trend in some formats. And obviously, I'm not a miracle worker. If you are somebody who enjoys minimalism, you like the trend, definitely use it. But I'm just going to be talking about mainly the things I don't really like about the trend. Obviously, I support all the positives for it, but I'm mainly going to be talking today about things that are just kind of negative, that have kind of built from that trend, that I think are just generally negative for society. So we're going to start with the overarching trend, that is minimalism. It's just kind of this blandness that has kind of crept into society. A lot of us have felt it for the past 5 or so years. It really started up around late 2019, but it really picked up with COVID. This minimalism trend where just everything has kind of become very dull. Obviously, you have these logos from corporations that have slowly simplified into this bland mesh that they all look the same. And you could go back in time to like the old way, and obviously there were a lot of unique logos, but a lot of them kind of blended in as well at that time. So it's definitely like this overlying trend of the time period. Maybe it will trend differently in the future and change, but for now, that's kind of where it stands. But this blandness has really crept into our architecture, into our house design. There's a lot of these newer buildings being built with like these dark gray walls and just really depressing vibes. It's like the Soviet Union. It's just this brutalist architecture. That's what's really popular right now, is brutalism and this dark, dreary atmosphere that's just really taken over the society. And I think it's really just making people sad, depressed. I don't think it's helping them at all. And I think it's just not a positive thing. Now, obviously, not all minimalism is bad. I think there has to be a balance to it, and I'll talk about that later. But that is something that I really feel is just dragging down society and making things worse. Another thing I've noticed a lot lately, this was something that was really kind of like dying off in the late 2010s. I think a lot of people were really becoming very authentic in the late 2010s. I feel like there was a lot of like artificial people, uh, mainly with like Hollywood and stuff like that. I don't know about the general population, but I think trends like TikTok and Instagram and just this minimalism trend where everybody has to be like perfect, it seems like. Obviously, not everybody takes it that way. Some people don't really strive to be perfect with minimalism. I think that's a good thing. But a lot of these people are like, they're really striving to like be perfectionists. There's a lot of these people that are like, there's a lot of these people that are like really preppy. Like their personality, they try to like claim to be more than they're not, essentially. And there's like a lot of this fake artificial truth just on the internet lately, where these people are just not real. They're not really themselves. They're not trying to be themselves. You're seeing it a lot with this Ozempic trend where people are taking that and they're looking like zombies almost. It's kind of gross, but a lot of people are doing that. Obviously, if it helps them, that's a good thing, but some people are like misusing it and it's kind of gross. There's a lot of really bad stuff going on in the world right now, and people are using social media in ways that was kind of like akin to early 2010 before things started like creeping into like authenticity. You really saw a lot of people like really being authentic in the late 2010s, and I'd say some people still are even now, and obviously even before they were, but you're really seeing like this return to like this artificial like world where everybody's like fake. Instagram is fake, TikTok is fake. A lot of these people just aren't really real, or they put on like this front of something that they're really not, and I think it's really creeping into society in a bad way. With things like AI on the rise as well, I feel like AI offers a very dull future, assuming it's used for bad, which so far it has been. I think AI is a really cool thing, because obviously it's this new tool. It has a lot of potential. Some people have used it for really cool things, but a lot of the people, and I'd say majority of people, use it for just bland, dull content, negativity. You really see it creep on YouTube where this AI is just kind of taken over. And you see it on TikTok, you see it on Instagram, Twitter, etc. And this AI is just kind of dulled the society even more. Some people are even like questioning like dead internet theory. Are the people we're talking to online even real? Is Raider Knight real? I mean, that's up for debate. I could be a robot. I could be AI and you don't even know it. That's like the crazy part. So I died. You know what? That's the lore. I died, and then the retirement was just the AI taking over. So all my videos are just AI now, but you really don't know anymore. Like, obviously, you can kind of tell for right now, but like in another 5 years or so, it's gonna be so hard to like actually tell what's AI and what's not. I feel like it's really gonna set like this bad trend, and you're already kind of seeing it starting to happen. There's a lot of these videos that are looking pretty real. I think even that Hollywood sign from the recent LA fire, some people have claimed that that was AI. So pretty crazy stuff. Obviously, I don't know if that was real or not. I'm not in LA, so I could not prove it, but the picture looked very real, and I think it confused a lot of people. And then finally some people started saying it was AI, which you know, if it is AI, that's kind of crazy that that many people fell for it, including me, which is just kind of like, this technology is going to keep getting worse and worse. And I mean, it's going to be hard to really distinguish from a lot of things. And that's why we really have to break away from social media and really dive deep into like, is this stuff we're seeing true? Are these people online really who they say they are? Are they authentic? Is this all artificial? Is it fake? Is it AI? That's going to be something that really grows in the future. And it's kind of a scary thought. But overall, this video is not an attack on minimalism. It's mainly just talking about kind of the negatives that have kind of associated itself with it. And really what I believe, I think you need a balance. I think minimalism can be used as a good trend. You can use it as a helpful tool to assist you alongside other things. But I definitely think you shouldn't completely get rid of all your things either. I think there has to be a balance. I think you need to keep on to items that you feel that really help you and assist you with your goals. I feel that you need to work hard, strive hard for whatever your goal is, and just make sure you find a good balance. I think the minimalism trend is so destructive, but it can also be helpful for some people. And I think it's really just something you got to do research into. But what do I predict comes after this trend? That's something a lot of people have really wondered. And I kind of wonder that too. What comes after this dark, depressing era we've been in the 2020s? What's like after this? I feel like there has to be some kind of like vibrant color that like breaks through. You kind of saw it after the 2000s. The 2000s were pretty depressing. And then after that, the 2010s were like really colorful. And I believe the same thing will probably happen. I feel like the 2030s or whenever it occurs ultimately, I feel like that'll be a very colorful decade. I think a lot of the trends from this decade will carry over into the next, obviously. And I think AI could possibly change things and make it damper. Maybe AI is the decade trend. Maybe AI is huge in 2030. We really don't know yet. And obviously, there's a lot of people who predict like AI is like the final technology. Some of these people think AI is just going to keep getting better and better. And eventually it's just going to like be able to like make blueprints of things like we can't even predict. Like that's like something I've thought about with AI is like if you trained it well enough, it could probably like figure out things that we like don't even know how to build yet. It could like build you like blueprints for things we haven't even invented yet, which that's kind of interesting. Like that could be really helpful for society. But I feel like AI could also be so destructive, especially like if it's just put in the wrong hands. And I feel like there's so many governments out there. One of them has to fuck up. You know what I'm saying? One of them has to fuck up or use it for evil. And, that's really kind of a worrying thought. And there's even so many people out there in the world too. I feel like AI is going to be one of them things like almost anybody could use it. So it's going to be like a pretty dangerous weapon, I feel like, as well. But that's just what I got to say about minimalism, the AI trends and stuff like that. So hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I will see you all for the next one. Peace.